Slade, can stuff calm down, please? Please. The gaming news needs to calm down.
Yeah, we had an absolutely crazy week of news coming out. A lot of confirmation bias coming out. Slade here alongside my excited co-host Byron.
Hey.
And let's go ahead and tackle some things from last week. We got some loose ends to wrap up.
Yeah. So we have a few updates throughout this episode. Our first update is about the good old Sega Sammy Rovio acquisition, which is 100% official. Statement put out on the 17th that Sega will be buying Rovio for 706 million euros, which I believe that converts to about 760 million US dollars.
Yeah, that's about right. We got word that a potential acquisition would happen last week, worth about $1 billion. So actually kind of surprised to see that come down to, that $760 million price point quite a bit. But there's some speculation there because this isn't a move that makes a lot of sense for Sega in terms of designing like video games and stuff like that. But maybe they're wanting to expand their mobile market, so maybe more mobile phone Sonic games or something like that.
Yeah, and
there's also a lot of speculation that they're trying to make themselves more attractive to companies like Microsoft for a potential acquisition.
That second one, I don't really believe, as much.
Yeah, I don't really believe it either. I don't think any of these large third-party publishers, and Sega is a large, publisher out there in the market.
Yeah, they have Atlas. They bought Atlas.
Yeah, they have Atlas of all things. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I don't think they're trying to get acquired by anybody.
Yeah, not right now.
People are putting it out there.
Yeah, not right now. But yeah, Sega's gonna continue they're gonna make a big push in the mobile market. They've got Rovio, who have made a lot of mobile games, including, Angry Birds, which I have never said Angry Birds more in my life in the past couple of weeks than, in a long time. Long time.
Sure.
Angry Birds, relevant again. And they also made a terrible-ass TikTok, by the way. There was an Angry Bird TikTok of the red Angry Bird doing Smasher Pass and calling a Tharja from Fire Emblem mommy.
Bro, the most I've heard about Angry Birds these past few weeks, and I'm just getting level it real, was when that Cult of the Lamb back and forth was going on with, the sheep from or the lamb from Cult of the Lamb was, making out with it. They were, back and forth. It was pretty crazy.
What the...
Yeah, all the, Twitter accounts, they got married or some shit. Everybody saw. I don't know. It was weird. But let's go on to the next actual bit of news. We got an update from PointCrow in regards to the modded Breath of the Wild and Nintendo situation.
Yeah, so basically, in one sentence, he said he's come to the decision that he will not be uploading any more modded videos of Breath of the Wild, which is honestly the right decision to make in his position. So...
yeah, honestly, it's low-key kind of concerning to even want to put out videos for Tears of the Kingdom either, because, I don't know, Nintendo, they like to be vindictive and fucking, make examples out of people. I feel like that's what they were trying to do with PointCrow going into Tears of the Kingdom's release, but I don't know. I've already beat this horse to death. I think their ideas on modding games and stuff like that are heavily antiquated, and it's probably just a bunch of boomers and law trying to protect their IP, and they have no idea what they're actually doing.
Yeah, speaking of protecting their IPs and beating something to death, R.I.P. Gary Bowser, the man who was sentenced back in 2021 to 40 months of prison and has a $14.5 million fine for his role in the Nintendo hacking group Team Executor. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, because they sentenced him to 40 months in prison and a $14.5 million fine for his role in that group, which is pretty excessive, but I think the major thing was they were trying to make an example out of him.
Yeah.
Especially because I feel like a lot of this came out due to, the Switch being hacked at the time of its release.
Yep. Yeah,
I think they just wanted to make an example out of him. Yeah, so it was a message to other hackers.
Yeah, he was indicted alongside Max Loran and Waling Chang for their parts. But in a recent interview with podcaster Nick Moses, Bowser's calls in not from Federal Detention Center C-Tech in Seattle, but from the Northwest Detention Center in Tacoma. He is awaiting processing before being sent home to Canada because he got out early for good behavior, which I think that's a somewhat common thing sometimes to happen with certain cases. Is that like...
Yeah, I mean, outside of like, creating hacks for like the Switch and whatnot, it's not like he stole or like he done anything like that. Actually, I don't want to make any assumptions. For all I know, he could have been ripping people's credit card info, and I just don't know anything about it.
Yeah, but
I'm not gonna get too much into that. I know that apparently they were taking money for hacking Switches or something.
Well, so Bowser claimed in this podcast interview with Nick Moses that of the $14.5 million he owes, he has only been able to pay off $175 of it, taken out in $25 monthly installments from his income from a job in the prison library. Should Bowser find a home in Canada, he says his pay will continue to be docked until the full amount is paid off, though his agreement with Nintendo only allows between 25% to 30% of his pay to be docked at a time. Jesus fuck.
Yeah, so long story short, the dude's going to be paying Nintendo until he's, in the grave and dead.
That's excessive. In my opinion, that's excessive.
Again, they're trying to make an example out of him. It's like, hey, you want to be like this guy? Losing 30% of every paycheck for the rest of your life?
Yeah, God. But is he going to be able to...
support.
But is he going to be able to find a job? Now, maybe Canada's a little better than the U.S. at this, but still. It's going to be pretty hard for him to find a job.
I can't imagine, because, yeah, his reputation is probably going to precede him, but, like, I don't know if he would, struggle to find a job on this. Obviously, he has a criminal history, but a lot of companies will hire, like, despite that. And,
true, but good luck to him. You're literally indebted to Nintendo for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Pretty insane. I know some people who jokes are running on like, I'm already giving Nintendo 30% of all my paychecks anyway for NSO and like games and shit. But we're not going to make those jokes here. I'd like to think we're above that.
Yeah. But Slade, I know you're excited for this little piece of Nintendo news.
That's right. Paper Mario 64 has the US version has been decompiled. For PC.
That's right, baby. That's right. So, as you can see with the chart on screen, this started back around, I think, May of 2020, and it's 100% complete, at least the US version. There's still the PAL version, the IQ version, and the Japanese version, but this is some great progress. And, of course, like with Mario 64 and that PC port and Ocarina of Time and the Ship of Haruken port, probably expect a Paper Mario DX or something like that in the near future.
Oh yeah, I imagine you also see a lot more like modded like Paper Mario 64 stuff. The thing that excites me is this is going to run natively on PC now, and like usually I'm not on the game company hired this man train that you see all over like YouTube videos and shit like that.
Yeah.
But I do think that the people behind these compilation projects for like Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, and now Paper Mario.
Yes.
I would like to see Nintendo get into the PC market and utilize similar talents that these people are obviously like using to make this happen. I don't know why this isn't a thing that they, are obviously they want people to buy their consoles, but like
this is
something that I wish Nintendo would do.
I was about to say it's a wish. It would be cool. It would be so awesome. It would be so cool, but it would
never happen. It would never happen.
It's not gonna happen. Speaking of things, Slade, that are never gonna happen, you're never gonna be able to collect your My Nintendo points for Advanced Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp.
That's right. That shit was delayed for so long that the gold points people were supposed to receive for initially pre-ordering it are now no longer available.
How? How do you fuck that up? How?
I mean, I think I get where the issue was. This game was supposed to come out well over a year ago at this point.
Yeah.
And I don't think they had that set up in the eShop.
Yeah.
in a way to where it would come out a year and a half after its fucking initial release date.
Yeah, but
Because this game's been completing for over a year and a half.
yeah.
Like, people don't realize this game's actually has been gold and shelf ready since I think last January.
Yeah, it's been ready for a hot minute.
Yeah, so
But, obviously, certain situations, certain real-life situations prevented Advance Wars from releasing. And a funny thing, Slade didn't even know the game was out.
yeah, I actually completely forgot about it, and I blame that partially on me, even though I follow gaming news pretty exclusively, and I actually was really excited for this game's release.
Yeah.
Part of me also blames it on Nintendo's absolutely non-advertising for it whatsoever. There's just no advertising. Like, there's no ads. It's on, like, there's nothing on YouTube. There's nothing for this game.
That was something.
They tweeted it.
That was something I predicted was going to happen. I'm pretty sure with this game that it would be a fly under the radar release.
I think I recall.
That's exactly what happened. But yeah, Slade, hope that second half of your voucher will be worth it for
Advance Wars,
sure.
I definitely, that's what I used the second half of my voucher on. For those in the know, I also put the first half of the voucher into Tears of the Kingdom. Very excited for that.
Yeah, because you get it for $10 less with the voucher. It's fucking $70.
$70 game, everybody.
Yeah.
Gotta love Nintendo. It's actually $20 less because of the package deal overall. But true. Speaking of which,
true. Slade, are you ready to beat a dead horse again?
Oh boy, which horse? Let me grab the bat.
So, this is another update, or I believe our final update from stories last week. But Joseph Staten left Microsoft and Halo.
That's right. We have another person who left Halo. We'll start with that.
Yeah.
Let me get it pulled up here. I actually thought I already had it pulled up.
The Halo franchise director Frank O'Connor has joined Mr. Joseph Staten in leaving.
That's right. Longtime director of the Halo series. I believe he's been with the series since 2002?
2004, I believe.
2004, okay. So that puts him in the timeline for Halo 2 and Halo 3.
Yes. So,
obviously, very long time, great, friend to, like, the Halo franchise and all that. He is no longer with the company. He's the latest to receive the quote-unquote axe with 343, which unfortunately doesn't surprise me. I don't think anybody's surprised by the other longtime Halo vet leaving the franchise at this point.
Yeah, but, sorry, we gotta beat this dead horse again. We don't know where Frank O'Connor is going, but we do know where Mr. Joseph Staten is going. He's going to be the creative director at Netflix Games for a brand new AAA multi-platform game and original IP.
That's right. And the plot twist of the century, Mr. Joseph Staten, who was released last week from 343, has entered an agreement to be the creative director of Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix.
Of all companies.
Yeah, Netflix.
Pretty wild.
Which, that's not a landing spot I think anybody could have predicted for him.
No, like I said, plot twist of the week for sure.
Absolutely.
It's going to be interesting to see just how well this Netflix IP really takes off.
Yeah, and
in terms of like quality and what it is. And then we're also going to have a lot of questions answered, but possibly more questions in regards to who was to blame for the decline of Halo.
Yeah. And
we might potentially get that answered.
Yeah, and I think an interesting tidbit that Mr. Staten points out is that this new Netflix game is going to be AAA and multi-platform. That's right. Going to be interesting.
I think he's just eager to develop for games and consoles other than like Microsoft. I think a lot of developers kind of get stir crazy working for the same large major publisher.
Well, except if you're Nintendo, but Nintendo do wacky shit like Labo.
I feel like a lot of Nintendo developers probably wish they could develop for other stuff too.
That's fair, but
neither here nor there.
But yeah, interesting.
Like I said, pretty fascinating stuff. Like I said, plot twist of the week for sure.
Yeah, plot twist of the week. So Can we talk about Niantic?
Yeah,
not
let's talk about
not
Niantic.
Pokemon though. Not Pokemon, which that's had its own controversies that the Pokemon Go YouTubers can cover because they're more in the know about that. But Niantic's back again with I think what their third video game themed game in Monster Hunter now.
That's right, and their fourth IP that they've released since the release of Pokemon Go. Monster Hunter Now is a mobile Monster Hunter game. I don't have any details in regards to how it's going to play or work. I imagine if they use their AR technology in a similar way to Pokemon, you'll probably be able to do IRL raids with your smartphones with like groups of people and whatnot.
Yeah,
Could be potentially fascinating.
yeah. The trailer shows it looks very similar to Pokemon Go in the style that like it's going to be AR. It's going to be like combine Monster Hunter with combine Monster Hunter with the essences of Pokemon Go.
Like, imagine people like doing dodge rolls IRL to avoid shit.
Good fucking god, IRL.
Well, obviously
dodge
that's
rolls.
not going to be the case. But yeah, just imagine someone's like, "Oh god, fire!" and then just roll into traffic.
Yeah. This is set to release in September of this year, so good luck.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty interesting. I guess only time will tell whether or not they can translate the Monster Hunter experience to
or
purely
will
mobile
Niantic
market.
do what they've done and piss off their community again?
Oh yeah, they're great at that. Like I said, we're not going to cover the Pokemon Go news because I feel like everybody else is already beating it to death. I know Hungrybox put out a really good video on like fans of the series are like straight up giving death threats to like people.
Which
at Niantic,
don't do that, please.
Yeah, please don't
do not do that. That's bad. Don't give death threats to people. Come on.
Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and skirt around that. We're not big fans of Pokemon Go anyway, so.
But yeah, just life lesson: don't send death threats, please.
So back on the acquisition trail, let's talk about Atari, who acquired more than 100 PC and console titles from the 80s and 90s in a wild turn of events.
And the biggest one is fucking Bubsy.
That's right, they got Bubsy.
They got Bubsy. They also have Hardball, the Demolition Racer series, 1942 Pacific Air War, F-117A, and F-14 Air Combat series, along with a whole host of other IPs. They acquired the trademarks to the Accolade and GTI brands. So that's where they got all of those from. From Accolade, Infogrames, and Microprose.
Yeah, so I imagine this acquisition is probably part of some plan to create a kind of like a collection of titles.
Yeah,
to re-release on like Steam or PC or something.
Yeah, Steam.
Pretty interesting stuff. Yeah. I actually was like, oh my gosh, they acquired that pinball game too. No, I'm kidding.
No,
but it's pretty interesting move for Atari. It seems like they're kind of branding themselves as the retro company.
Yeah.
Out of all the companies.
Yeah, which interesting. Many of these titles are part of Atari history, and fans can look forward to seeing many of these games re-released in physical and digital forms, and in some cases, even ported to modern consoles. So there we go. That's their plan. They're gonna port them to everything. So
yeah, like I said, it's probably gonna be a lot of collections and stuff like that.
Yeah, get ready for that.
Remasters.
Oh God, you know what
Bubsy
I just realized, Slade?
What?
There's a chance we're gonna get Bubsy 3D on modern platforms.
Bubsy 3D.
No!
Let's go.
One of the worst video games of all time. No,
bro, that'd be incredible.
That would be incredible.
I kind of want to see it now, just to see if like they can like fix
They're
wrongs.
not gonna fix it, Slade. It's not gonna be a remake. That'd be too much money for Atari.
I mean,
I don't know how much this acquisition costed.
It would not be the first time a company has taken one of their black sheep titles and remastered something. Fire Emblem Echoes was a remaster of the Black Sheep event series and considered one of the worst SRPGs out there at the time. and
True.
that goes into a very beloved game. So, like, I don't know. There's a precedent for it. It could happen.
There is, but I hopefully we don't live in that reality. But Bubsy 3D can just, unless they want to truly try to make it a better game, which I'm all for. I'm all for remakes that make bad games good. Look at Project 06. They just released the Silver episode.
Yeah, which is pretty incredible. Project 06, you guys should definitely check that out. But I don't think there's any hope for Bubsy 3D.
Yeah, it's just going to be a port. But,
all right, let's talk about our next acquisition and possibly our final one of the episodes.
Yeah, so, welcome Firewalk Studios to the PlayStation family. They're planning to connect players in new innovative ways with their ambitious upcoming multiplayer games. So Sony announced a partnership, publishing partnership with Probably Monsters and Firewalk in 2021. And yeah, they just bought them. They just bought Firewalk a few years later.
They haven't released any games, so they don't have like a previous track record.
No,
but I'm guessing whatever they had to show Sony, impress the people at Sony enough to be like, yeah, let's just bring these on and buy them out.
Yeah,
so this game stays exclusive to PlayStation.
Yeah, and Firewalk have former Bungie and Activision staff as part of that studio, so like they probably were like, okay, yeah. There's people that worked at these other companies that are at this studio, and they seem to be doing something great. We want to make a lot of multiplayer games. So, yeah, just made all the sense in the world.
Who knows? Maybe this could be the next evolution of the Halo Destiny style game.
Yeah, well, they have Bungie. Sony bought Bungie, so who knows?
Yeah, who really knows? So,
but
interesting choice
neat acquisition.
Overall.
It's not a big publisher. It's not a big developer, so I'm all for that.
It's nice that they're going to get a budget behind them too. But let's talk about some not so nice news.
Yeah, let's end it off on a bit of a depressing note. Sony in some countries have significantly increased Steam game prices. So, Video Game Chronicles is reporting that price increases vary by country and title. In Canada, the price of all 4 games has been upped by $10, representing 14.5 to 17% increase, and in Japan, prices have risen by approximately 29 to 32.5%. In Argentina, some prices have risen by as much as 67% from 4,199 pesos to 8,499 pesos.
Pretty insane, by the way.
Yeah.
Inflation's coming for us all. It's not just video games, oh god. But, so this is really unfortunate that it seems like they're trying to increase the prices on Steam, not just to make like extra money or something, but also to like slightly incentivize people to play these games on PlayStation 5 where they will be available for cheaper.
Yeah.
God knows how long that's going to last.
Yeah.
But
True. True.
Yeah, so honestly, just pretty scummy move overall, but I mean, I feel like inflation's kind of impacting, the world overall, and I feel like this is just them trying to take advantage of it as much as possible.
Yeah, so the full list of countries that are affected that we know of are Argentina, Canada. That's actually a little bit of a shock, right? I didn't think Canada would be affected. Chile, China, Colombia, Japan, and South Korea. Yeah. Not a great move if you're a gamer from any of those 7 countries.
Oh yeah, especially Argentina. That fucking 67% increase. Yikes.
Yeah, goddamn.
Actually, yikes.
Yeah, that was for God of War. God of War 1, by the way.
Yeah.
God of War 1. Spider-Man Remastered doubled in price. Sackboy and Returnal risen by that 67% number. And Sony have not given a comment to VGC, who broke the news. And speaking of the news, that's it for the news.
That's right. So, finally, got through that episode. Got a lot come at us this week. Probably gonna have a lot come at us next week. As always, Byron and I will keep you all abreast of everything that's going on. So this has been Slade.
Absolutely, and this is Byron, and we'll be back next week, probably with another grab bag of gaming news. Bye-bye, everybody.